Hey everybody, it's the Toy Duo team. The music.
When you have addiction and your shelves are overflowing, hold tight. When you don't know what new is coming, but you fear you might miss out. Just sit right back, just relax and watch and listen. The Toy Duo team brings you what you need. The toy news you didn't know you needed. Action figures, TV news, all the pop culture you can handle.
I love it when a plan comes together. What?
On your shelf.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Just being silly. Anyways, it's the Toy Duo team, episode 106. Oh my god.
106?
Yeah.
Man, that's hard to believe, man.
How you guys doing today?
Apparently, I couldn't write. It's time for the show in the chat, so I gave up.
All broken up and
Yeah.
Lasoro, John, that's obviously you got something for. We'll talk about that during the bragging camp. Sir Eric's here. Is that a Star Wars Adidas shirt?
No,
Oh,
Manchester
he
United.
broke a perfect record.
Yeah.
what the heck?
And then Dan's in his
Star
Looney
Wars
Tunes.
hat, though. Star Wars
Oh,
hat.
There we go. There we go.
Does that count? Judges?
I wish I could play music on here that wouldn't get me
Yeah.
copyrighted. I played it.
Dan's wearing his one Tunes shirt. Oh, it's Looney Tunes. I only saw OONE, so I thought it was one Tunes.
So normally, like we would start the show, and I might do like the crowdfund update, but almost everything that I've seen, except for if we're looking at like Kickstarter and stuff like that, has ended. Right? We know that Space Zombies from Mars did not fund; it got about 58%, and then didn't back. So the thing is, I did reach out to Adam, who was on the show, and I asked him about the Space Zombies, and he said, "You haven't seen the last of Space Zombies from Mars. They're going to continue to work on the project and get it further along in the process, and then try again." So that was their update.
All right.
I imagine that like if I were them, I might want to solidify like the LP a little bit more, like what it's going to look like, the color pressing, that type of thing. Maybe like the artwork on the cover sheet, like how that's going to be, if it's going to be like a screen printed type deal, like Mondo would do, like I have a couple of those records, like the Guardians of the Galaxy one. And if you run your hand over the cover, it's like raised. It's actually a really cool concept. The other crowdfund that I do not have any pictures for is that Mythic Legions dragon. But it seems like the dragon's funded, just the head sculpting is funded, and the wings are funded separately. So all three pieces are funded, and the tiers are unlocked.
They are.
Yeah.
Everything now?
Oh,
I think I saw something that said that the skeleton was unlocked.
I thought there was something that they still haven't revealed that they're working on as another stretch goal.
That might be. I'm not 100% sure because I just have not been like paying that much attention to them after they gaslighted me.
hey, speaking of gaslight, is my mind playing tricks on me? Was it 550 before or was it 500?
What do you mean?
It was. I think it was 550.
Was 550?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you think they're
Yeah. No, it was 550 because
What's
I
the-
remember like all in, it was 850 plus tax and shipping, right?
Yeah, because that's the reason I'm asking, because it says plus shipping, and it obviously is my mind playing tricks on me because for some reason I had it in my head as that was 500 plus shipping or something like that. But then again, I was really confused on those tiers too. So
okay? It says you can see that. Oh, you can't see this. Oh,
I see it.
I see it. The background. Yeah.
did not need.
do you see it now?
Tariffs and prices.
Oh no.
No.
This. Okay, this is what I was
Oh,
trying
there
to
we
show.
go. Yeah.
Okay, so it says Stretch goal unlock. The Ashen skeleton is now included at no extra cost with all, I can't pronounce it, dragon orders. We have just surpassed 3,000 units sold for that. So the Ashen skeleton upgrade set of 3,500 units. This is shown in the second image, and we'll add 2 more skulls, vampire and orc, to the package along with a set of hands. So I guess 3,500 is the next stretch goal. Okay, so yeah, not everything is unlocked, but I thought that was kind of interesting that they did unlock that. So that will be 3,500 units.
And I think I saw somewhere what it ends tomorrow, right?
I think so.
I think it's tomorrow at 11 Eastern. So I think I saw on some other stream, the one guy from Four Horsemen said they'll be updating the website like at least hourly, like tomorrow evening. So
okay, so they have a statement, just so you know, about the tariffs on here. They said that it's changing because of the products made in China, which is where all of our Legions figures are produced. The Dragon's not scheduled to ship until 2026. Anything can change. So I don't know what that really means, because they're not really saying. What we can tell you is that we have no intentions of charging customers additional fees once these items are produced and ready to ship. So it seems like they may have factored in enough of a buffer to accommodate some higher manufacturing costs.
That, or they're just not willing to
say so right
destroy all their goodwill.
Right. So
because some of these companies might still take a hit, right?
Yeah,
but
true.
But not do anything about it because they want to continue being in that business for whenever these things get lifted. So
okay, what is Bender saying? I feel that space zombies, that's okay, from Mars name might limit their appeal to non-space zombie fans. They should have had a name like Toy Co, and the generic name should have been Space Zombies. Yeah, I mean they are the nameless toy company, I guess, is what they're the toy company created, right? Yeah. Let's say hi to Q. We got Devin Seek in here. We got Gary's Grills, G-Force, of course, Bender Rodriguez, Q, Ricardo, right? And then Jonathan Redmond's here. And then, of course, all the hosts, David R. And then all the hosts have kind of chimed into the chat too.
Delvian, did you get Delvian?
What?
Delvian Seek, did you say hi to?
Oh, I know. I must have missed him. So,
that was the first one you said.
Yeah.
I was paying attention. I try to keep track when you rattle off. You missed one, I'll let you know.
All right.
I'm getting older, so my memory goes and comes whenever I want.
G-Force is here. Yeah.
How's it going, everyone?
What was that? Dragons?
Okay.
Wrapping up the Four Horsemen conversation.
I'm sorry?
I have a burn Listen's mind.
What
were you going to say, Eric?
Oh, no. Dan was asking, what were we talking about? I said we were wrapping up the Four Horsemen conversation. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Gary's asking where Dino is. That's a good question. He's probably fell into a popcorn bucket.
Yeah. His wife gives him work to do on the weekends now that the weather's getting better. So they're outside.
I sent this in our group chat, but to everyone else watching and listening, the popcorn bucket craze has gotten so weird that now they're making Christmas ornaments of popcorn buckets. The Disney store is like, I saw an R2-D2 popcorn bucket that Christmas ornament that like lit up. It's like, what? This is it's out of hand.
Yeah, I know, like Disney's been doing these like themed buckets for like years, right? And I always wanted one of those AT-ATs, but I was never able to get one. But the time I was there, they sold out to the guy in front of me. But now I want that Tauntaun.
There's a Tauntaun one?
There's
Yeah.
a Death Star one too. I saw
That lights up and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I
saw-
think some of those are exclusive to Disneyland. I think
I think
because
they're all Disneyland. Yeah.
because they're
Oh, okay.
for some reason they only do the like special events and whatnot for Star Wars in Disneyland. Like Disney World doesn't get any of that. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Star Wars thing going on. I want to say it overlapped
it's
with
Star
one of my
Wars night.
it overlapped with one of my trips, and we booked the evening event here in Disney World and found out it wasn't Star Wars related. The
Yeah.
evening event is just Hollywood Studios related.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Interesting. When are you going, John?
Well, I'm Stephanie and Martin are coming over from the UK, and I think they're here for like a couple weeks, but I'm going to meet them on the 30th and be there on the 30th and the 1st.
Oh, that's kind of cool. All right.
So I'll see
That's
that. I'll be able to
coming
see
up.
them and spend the day. And then we're doing the night event on the 30th, so we'll be there basically from open till midnight or whenever that thing ends, 1 o'clock. I don't know what time it ends, but
Okay.
a full
Vern,
day
is
of
your-
Star Wars Disney.
Vern, is your brother planning on going to Epic Universe and getting a whole bunch of the launch merch?
I don't know. What is it? What is that? I don't know. if you know
Universal
about it.
Universal Studios has a new theme park opening. They're just
I'll
doing press previews and whatnot right now, but it's opening in a few weeks or imminently.
I'll have to ask him if he's planning on doing that. Is there something you're looking for?
Oh, not particularly, just a suggestion.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got a couple of
If
things.
he wants to pop in and say hi, I'd be more than welcome to say hello. I could send him my number or whatever.
Okay.
I know he's close, right? He's real close to Disney.
He's right there. He
there.
can Uber you right to the park.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple of things before we do the hot or not. We were going to talk about prices, tariffs, and stuff. But I say let's do before we get into that, because I think that's going to be a longer conversation. Let's do this part right here, which is the TV and movie news you didn't know you needed. Is anybody currently watching anything that they want to talk about that they think is super cool, or just talk about Daredevil?
Well, I was going to talk about Daredevil. I'm not sure if anyone has any opinions on the latest episode.
I didn't get the last one.
I liked it. I caught up. I liked it.
I can't spoil it here then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I caught up and I liked it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, it was good. All right. I agree. It was good. So I was reading an article about Daredevil, and it was D'Onofrio, and he's talking about how he asked if he can be in a Spider-Man movie as Kingpin.
Oh, wow.
I think he was originally supposed to be the villain. Yeah.
So apparently, because of the rights, the Spider-Man rights go with Sony for movies, right?
Mhm.
And the TV rights stay with Marvel and Disney or whatever. So it's hard to do the crossover between like the TV to movie. So his response was it's difficult and probably not going to happen. Right. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of an interesting
See,
thing.
I would like it to go the other direction. I think that even if you don't see Tom Holland, say he never takes the mask off, I would like to see Spider-Man show up in a show like Daredevil or something like that. Because Spider-Man often was a street level, New York City street level guy, and sometimes he did cross over in the comics with Daredevil and stuff, and other things like Luke Cage and things,
Well, they did cross over Daredevil with Spider-Man, so it would totally make sense, right? He was the attorney for Peter Parker.
He did show up in the movie, didn't he? Yeah, right.
I understand why they can't Kingpin.
My understanding my understanding was that the fourth movie was originally supposed to have Kingpin, because at the end of No Way Home they tried to do the reboot to make more street level and whatnot without all the Stark tech. But based on the success of having uh, uh, what's his name? The two former Spider-Man
The other
actors.
Spider-Mans, yeah.
Yeah, having those guys and doing like a multiverse Spider-Man movie. Sony realized they want to do more of that and milk that cow even more. So
I just
so it
heard
sounds
that-
like it sounds like they sort of pivoted away in the interest of trying to do maybe some of
But
that.
didn't Tom Holland just post a thing on his Twitter? I swear I saw this only about a couple days ago where he said, "No, I convinced them to nix that idea. We weren't going to work on it. We're back to the drawing board, and the writers the group are coming up. We're going back to the street level thing because that's what
I hope so.
The actors want to do street level." And they were like, "We don't want to do another multiverse thing." So they kind of boycotted and got their way or something like that.
We'll see. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sony doesn't make. Sony has a history of making poor choices.
They do. Yes.
What are you guys talking about? They made Madam Web.
Which I still say was a fine science fiction movie about people with spider powers, but it was not a Spider-Man universe movie.
Jonathan here has the perfect solution to everybody's problem.
Yeah, I mean they could.
Oh
web to a wall, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Have like the Daily Bugle. You could bring back.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, if they have an agreement that Spider-Man can be in, multiple things like Sony projects and Disney Marvel projects, I could see where they might be like, but you can't have Tom Holland. So why not just have a Spider-Man, someone in a mask, and he could even be half in the shadows or something? Like, I don't know. It's just there to me. There's creative ways, like what Jonathan's suggesting, by just sewing webbing or something. Right. There's creative ways of putting the character in without really putting the character in. You know what I mean? Like,
from what I understand, for the rest of Daredevil, so this past week's episode was the last episode that was done from like that predated the rewrites and whatnot, and the final two episodes are from the different writing team that ended up going in a different, hopefully better direction. So people who have seen the final two episodes in the media have said it's noticeably better.
Okay, so
I didn't think the other parts were bad, so that means it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
so I thought would be interesting was to restream all of the chairs with people's names on them, but then I thought about it and decided just to make this one slide.
Yeah.
For the sake of
time. Yeah.
So 2 Marvels and a non-Marvel here. What is everybody most excited to see?
You've got the Naked Gun and then Avengers Doomsday. I'd say Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, sounds the best.
But
I'm just messing around here.
I'm usually not a fan of reboots and whatnot. I haven't seen the trailer, but seeing Liam Neeson in the Naked Gun reboot just makes sense.
Right.
Normally I wouldn't fall for some of this, but when Liam Neeson does comedic roles, he's so good in it.
Did you see the trailer?
I haven't seen it yet. I need to, but in my head, this just makes perfect sense.
He's basically like the dude from Taken.
Yeah.
But with like
Mr. Magoo,
like the ridiculous stuff surrounding it. Yeah. Okay.
See, the problem though is, does that deserve to come to theaters? I guarantee you, if you go watch that movie on opening day, you're gonna be alone in the movie theater.
The Naked Gun, probably.
Yeah. I don't understand because I want to see it. I want to see it, but I'm not going to spend $20 at the theater and then $15 on popcorn and a drink and sit there
But people will, because people want to go to the theater and laugh there.
I don't know.
I think the dynamics just change. COVID killed
Yeah,
the
because
movie industry.
knowing that you're going to be able to watch it in a month and a half on streaming, it's like
Yeah.
I just wait for streaming.
Well, we'll
You know?
see. We'll see. Okay, so with Doomsday, there were a lot of announcements that came out, right? He said they're saying that Doomsday is going to have the Avengers, the Wakandans, Fantastic Four, the
Yeah, I know.
Thunderbolts,
That's
and the X-Men fighting Doctor Doom.
it's
and,
ridiculous.
and even more actors, like Kevin
Yeah.
Feige confirmed there's going to be a lot more that they haven't revealed.
So here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see Doctor Doom and a bunch of little robotic androids, like an army of
there
like
will be.
robotic like androids fighting
had-
all the Avengers and stuff like that.
Dr. Doom did have robotic androids
know,
in the
but
comics, so that's what's
basically-
going to happen.
It's so basically they're
It's
just
going to be the
remaking
exact
all
same
of the
movie they
Avengers
did
movies.
twice before. Yes. This will be the third time we get to see this happen on
What city
screen.
could all these androids destroy this time? Right?
I made up one in Latveria or whatever. Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Maybe I mean, it's not like they can lift it up and drop it on the planet again. I mean, they have already done that, right? They just can't demolish it because they did that. Then, I mean,
Well,
I don't
it's
know.
like Doom's from another made up, like the Wakanda thing. That way, Wakanda's most of the Marvel universe is real. It's set in real Earth, but they do have places that are sort of in fantasy, which is Wakanda. And I think isn't Latveria where Doom was,
Yes.
where he became the ruler of, and that's a made up place,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Yes.
real to our Earth, right? Yeah.
All right.
And
So
I agree with Gary here, and I want to say that I think we should be on marketing teams for these movies, because the other thing I think is when Superman had that first trailer where they were like, the trailer, they had that teaser and they said, look up on like March 6th or whatever it was, or February 6th. I don't remember what day it was, but they were like, look up. And then the trailer came out, and it was just a trailer that was like a minute long that said, look up and stuff. Why didn't they have drones flying over every major city at exactly 6 p.m. and everyone had to go outside and look up, and the drones could have a Superman cape on them flying behind it? You know what I mean? Like,
It would have
that
been.
would have been awesome. If
you know what they were
everyone
They were
world
testing that, John. There was a plan to have drones fly over like the cities and do that exact thing. I was just making up an article about this, but the problem is everybody was reporting these test drones over like New Jersey and stuff like that, and there was a big, huge conspiracy.
Like
these
hoopla?
drones
Yeah.
made national news, and they realized that was just a bad idea.
Yeah. But I don't see why you would have a tagline "Look up" if there's no reason for you to go outside and look up. They really should have Superman in the sky all over every major city, so that we can go outside and look up and see Superman. That's what I would have done.
Or
the new Superman footage looks pretty good.
It's great. I think it looks awesome. Yeah.
or maybe do a look up and do it like at night, right? But like over those cities, they would just have like 100
symbol,
drones go up
light with
and
those
make
symbols.
Superman
Yeah.
symbol in the sky
Yeah.
over one area or something. Yeah,
That's
could be a
cool.
idea. Yeah, you're not hired.
And
because they
and
don't
of
wanna
course, why not 4/4 at 4:44 have the Fantastic Four trailer? That would have
Yeah.
been very brilliant.
Did anyone hear anything that was special from the new Fantastic Four
They
footage?
showed the
showed?
female Silver Surfer supposedly, and Sue Storm
Okay.
was pregnant in the trailer.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
okay.
And then they also came out and said that the Fantastic Four right now is in their own world where no other superheroes exist.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense.
Because their world's going to get destroyed by the end of the film.
Because you
Probably.
can't do a period piece like that with it.
Dan doesn't even want to
like-
hear speculation.
I don't want to
We're-
hear speculation.
You
Right.
can't do a period piece like that when there's been no knowledge of them in the MCU to date.
And then apparently the Haley Outwell signed on to do both Doomsday and Secret Wars. So I think that's a pretty good sign that she's going to be Captain Carter. And then today I saw a post that said, what's his name? Isaacs, the Moon Knight. He is no
Oscar
longer able to go to Star Wars Celebration because of scheduling conflicts.
Huh.
So
they're
hopefully
either-
they're bringing Moon Knight in.
Yeah, so it's either or season 2 of Moon Knight.
I thought they said that's not happening, but
Oh, then yeah, probably then.
I think they should do another werewolf or man thing before Halloween. Like,
yeah.
and
Oh,
kind
I
of
think
come
that would
out
be
in
really cool.
Halloween. Just surprise us this year.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
think they need. If they didn't release the Fantastic Four on 4 or whatever.
4-4. Yeah.
Yeah, at 440, they're not going to do another match.
Hello, Rhino Hobbies.
Yeah, Gaps here,
Yo.
Rhino's here, Mr. B. Who else did we miss? Came in, Jumpy's here. They gone. Oh, he did a stream yesterday, I think, right? I missed it. Sorry about that. I meant to chime in, but stuff got in the way. 6
Life
o'clock.
happens.
Gary's got a lot to say, huh?
Yeah.
I know.
It's opportunity. He's anxious for this Fantastic Four, man.
I know.
I'm really excited for it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They have to do it right. Third time's a charm, right?
Yeah.
That's
All right,
what-
so let's do this. Let's do a little bit of bragging camp you didn't know you wanted. These are things that you might have in your collection or that you have just got that you might want to show off to everybody. So does anybody have anything that they want to show off this week?
I got some stuff.
There,
I'll
got
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
a new toy.
All right. I got Agent Venom from
Ooh,
Pulse.
Nice.
Oh,
Look at that.
Pretty cool. I also got this guy
The 2-pack.
from
Oh, that's
Pulse.
cool, man. I like
Wow.
it.
I think I saw Yak Face. I think it was Yak Face. Got a couple of these and did a head swap with Lando to do Lando as the other.
Oh,
one.
that's a good idea, actually.
So there's that, and then I got 2 of these guys
Ooh.
in
Wow.
with the soft
Please
goods,
do a video.
Jawa.
Please do a video, and when you do the intro and you're showing the box, play this music from the streets of San Francisco, just because of the name of that product.
I don't know the song. I was thinking of a song from the Arctic Monkeys, the Fake Tales of San Francisco. But
No, it's a Quinn Martin production. It's like dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah. Anyway,
then I also got this guy, Balaam Skulls Saber.
nice.
It's
Ooh.
orangish. It doesn't come across well on the.
It's a little less red than the
Can
other
here.
red ones.
yeah.
Yeah, it's more orange. So
Yeah.
Now I notice
Yeah,
it's
it has
lighting.
all the-
It's getting a lighter color just from your movement.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's got the spark feature when they.
So I think that's more just the camera.
Oh,
focus.
okay.
Trying to
'Cause-
focus.
because-
Gotcha. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw the same thing on the screen. I'm like, wait, I don't think the Saber's making that color change.
Okay.
So it's got all the standard Force Effects Elite features.
Yeah.
It's a bit lighter compared to the others, though. So it's just interesting. Another thing I thought was really interesting, and I was really curious about this, the blade length. I was wondering if they were going to give this a longer blade, because you remember they made a big deal about saying the Black Series figures lightsaber length was going to be bigger because it's,
Right.
broadsword or whatever. So I was wondering, hey, are they going to make this bigger and keep things consistent? No, it's the same blade
No, so
length.
it's the same
The-
size.
the
handle's bigger,
the hilt is a little taller though, but
Yeah.
overall it feels lighter compared to a lot of the other ones. So
The hilt
Yeah.
is taller than me. It's bigger than me.
no, but
Okay.
No.
I could get the measuring tape out if you'd like.
I
No.
think that entire lightsaber is under 12 inches long.
The no, that's bigger than a foot, surely.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
Yep.
Hold it up there. real quick.
So I think I was looking. Oh, there's my measuring tape. I usually have a
Do you, Eric?
something
Do
on my
you
desk.
I mean,
do you like how many lightsabers do you have? And what
I haven't
makes you-
counted.
like Like, are you attempting to get them all, or what is your criteria when you go to
pretty
collect
much
a lightsaber?
I mostly get them all. I mean, I don't get all of the. I prefer to stick at least with like Hasbro quality, the Disney
The
Park
Black Series?
sabers. The Disney Parks ones are like I get them when there's like clearly they're the only ones that are gonna make that version of the
character. Okay.
for the character. So I do have some of those, but I honestly haven't counted recently.
Did you get that one that came out that you can push the button and it like that? Did you get that?
No, so that was never for sale.
No, they had an off-brand one that they were selling at Target.
Okay,
But
yeah.
got it. It was actually really good, sturdy, and I was just curious just because of the effect if you would have got it.
No, I don't think I ever saw those one. I think I know what you're talking about. I remember Dino's video that he did for that. But yeah, as for deciding when to get one, usually it's all of them.
It's Black Series that you're on,
But-
because that's what I was going to get at. Do you have all the ones from the parks and the Black? But it's Black Series you're kind of collecting. I get what you're saying.
I mean, I've got ones from the park because clearly Hasbro doesn't make a lot of these. So, although
Yeah.
I think I think I saw a rumor that the next one they're gonna make is Shin Hati's.
Gotcha.
So we'll see.
That would make sense.
All right, Dan, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I can. I've got some Hulks behind me here. I don't know if you can.
I like the Hulk. Yeah.
Done.
20, and then obviously the reason for that is because I'm sure we'll get to it eventually. But
Sure.
The release of that Maxim.
The Maximum
Hulk.
series. Hulk.
Yeah. And I just like, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I mean that's a really good sculpt, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean that's a pretty good sculpt. Yeah, the articulation could be better, but that's some good detail, And they could have worked that. That was a Hulk from a 2-pack back in the Toy Biz days. He's got the hand articulation,
Right.
there.
And the feet, the toes, right on that one.
Those two, yep. Yeah. And if I remember right, that 2-pack with him and the leader was $19.99.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy.
I
Then? Wow.
have a hard time paying, possibly $70 for another Hulk. Well, we just had this one for $29.99 that ended up on clearance in some areas, if I remember right, that 20th anniversary. Like, I think the distribution on that one's really screwy because some places had like none of them, and some places
I never saw that Hulk.
I got that 20th anniversary one, the one you're pointing at in the back, super cheap on clearance, and I kicked myself because I didn't get a second one.
Right, me too.
And now it's expensive.
Yeah. But yeah. So to my point, John never saw it. Where Bert and I could have had the opportunity to grab 2 of them for almost the price.
It's like that. It was like that Black Widow, right? The one Target. I found those in plenty on clearance at Target. I didn't get them because I was like, oh, these are a dime a dozen. And now,
the next Hulk for me is because like that Hano Studios that's doing the slightly lower priced Hot Toys for Sideshow, like that Sideshow distributes. What they did, the Iron Man, the Thor, and the Captain America's coming soon. So next will be Hulk after that. And I have their 12-inch Hot Toy version of Wolverine with the yellow and blue or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the only other Marvel character that I think would go right in that display would be the Hulk. So when they announce and do the Hulk next, I'll probably get that and have Hulk and Wolverine facing off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Because that's a good mix. But that'll be my next.
What do you got?
I got my Cyberzoic.
The Invisible Dinosaur.
My Cyberzoic dinosaur showed up. The Allosaurus. Part of the good guys.
Did they just send you a box, John? That looks empty.
Yep, we just got a box with nothing in it yet. And so it will get this armor and figure, so it'll be like a Dino Riders sort of reminder thing. And here is the dinosaur itself. I think they look really cool. They got movable jaws.
Really good review you did there.
Yeah, and there's a video on the website, but it has a decent amount of neck articulation and everything. I like how it can move and all that, and good arm articulation. I think they can go really wide and really narrow, and same with the legs. And a lot of good joints in the feet and arms and legs and tail. But I don't like this joint in the middle because it doesn't do anything. But, I'm very happy with it otherwise. Altogether, I guess I should say.
That's cool. And how did that compare with, say, the Jurassic ones? I know I asked you off camera, but
yeah. It's about twice as heavy. This is you can really feel it in this part of the figure, the center part. It's very, very solid. Like this is not a piece of plastic that's hollow. It feels like it's a solid, like plastic all the way through. Like you hear that? You can knock.
Can you do it harder?
Can you get a hammer?
Yeah.
Comparison.
I don't know how solid. Can you get a drill?
Yeah, but when you pick up like the T-Rex of Jurassic Park, which is comparable in size, it feels almost like it's hollow. It feels kind of lightweight,
Sure.
And almost like it has a skin over it or something almost, but like there's a structure underneath with a rubbery plastic skin over it, where this just feels like it's solid plastic. There's no. But,
I can only think what someone would be thinking if they saw this point in the stream but had the video muted. So they just see like John holding and stroking plastic dinosaur. What's going on?
Okay,
Sorry.
so you were supposed to. Can you put the armor and the figure on?
No, because that didn't come. This is what I wanted to ask. Like I want to ask, like, what you guys, is it wrong of me to feel this way, or am I justified? Because
hold on, can I answer just on the surface of that? No, it's not wrong of us to tell you how to feel.
I just mean, like, would you feel the same way? I guess, and like, because. So when I ordered the Kickstarter, it said I was getting a bundle with the armor and the action figure to ride on it. And the armor transforms from a little space vehicle, sort of like a, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Like land speeder kind of thing, speeder bike kind of thing, that transforms into armor that fits on the dinosaur with a saddle piece and guns, and then a helmet kind of that goes over its head. This thing kind of transforms, and then the figure can ride in the saddle part. And I ordered it as a bundle, and it was around $130 shipped and everything. And so it's kind of expensive. And then in the Kickstarter, they said, they sent an update saying, your orders, everything is coming together just fine. Everyone should see their stuff in March, or you might have said starting in March. I don't know, something like that. And the first of the orders going out will be like the Allosaurus, the Smilodon might be a little bit after that, and like each one was a little bit like a week or two apart. You know what I mean? So some people got a certain dinosaur in the beginning of March, and the Allosaurus was the end of March. And I think the Smilodon is shipping right now. So so they were a little bit staggered as things got done, I guess, but. It said, the first message said, everything's coming, your order's coming. And then it said, I got one when it shipped. And then he did like a Kickstarter update, ensuring everything's coming. And he kept using words like everything, your order is coming, all that stuff. And then when it arrives, it says, your order should have arrived. I get another message. And I open the box, and it's just the Allosaurus.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was kind of like, what the crap? Like, where's the rest of my order? Did I just get ripped off? Because you could have just ordered just the dinosaur. You know what I mean? Like, that was one tier, and then the next tier was the bundle. So I'm like, did he screw up my order and send me just the thing? And so I wrote him and said, I want to make sure everything's all right. And he said, well, yeah, the armor and the figure are coming in May. Like, duh, almost like duh, like that's what it made me feel like, And I was like, well, then I would have rather waited till May to get the bundle. Like have it set all at once in May. I don't want just the dinosaur and then I have to wait another 2 months to get the armor and the figure, And so I was a little put off by it because I feel like he almost sort of misled me in a sense. Because it was like the only place, now that I look into it, the only place that mentions it's 2 different shipments is on the website itself. It says dinosaurs available now, armor and figures available in May. So I was like, you didn't say that in the Kickstarter. You didn't say that in any of the emails or the updates. You kept saying everything is coming. Your order is coming. Like, did I misinterpret it? You know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of weird that they ship things as they come like that if it was all for like one product. But at the end of the day, as long as they're clear,
as long as I get it, right?
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. As long as I end up getting it.
But,
Yeah,
but the communication was on, and I think that falls into the same category as Vern's rant last week last week or 2 weeks ago with the Mythic Legions.
Yeah.
So the thing, they're because they did say in its bold, we're still aiming to have all of the pledges pre-orders sent out by the end of March.
Yeah.
So I can 100% understand what you're talking about.
And it's not all the pledges because I only got half my order.
Right. And I still am nowhere close to what I pledged. So I know that's going to be another probably 6 to 8 months. So
yeah.
Nobody got that dragon, right? Anybody?
I didn't get the one that they were showing off in the beginning. I got that other one, the one at the very end that's got like kind of like the 2 feet down and he's got the wings. It was green.
The green one.
Looked more like a lizard.
Looks
dragon.
more, snake lizard like. It's longer.
Yeah, I got that one. So I know that one's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you, John. I think that like it could have been a lot more clear. I thought if you got the bundle like that, there was going to be a different kind of a box that had all the
that
stuff,
had everything in one
box.
Yeah.
Or potentially an inbox collector.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're getting 2 different boxes.
Yeah. And maybe 3 because the figure may come separate from the from the sled. Because I think those could have been picked up separately. So 3 boxes.
Mr. B says at our age, May will be here in a week. Time goes by so fast at our age.
All right. I don't really have anything. I did pick up a lot from like Goodwill, and the 2 things that I had in there that I thought were kind of cool was got a few GI Joes, and I got these.
I did not find those at Goodwill.
In an auction lot.
No way.
Yeah. So if you see, I did a video recently with that Atomic Man. GI Joe Atomic Man figure from the 70s or whatever. This was all part of the same setup or whatever. So yeah, it had a bunch of stuff in there.
That's good.
So
get lucky there, man.
Yeah. I keep looking. There's one right now that I'm kind of interested in. It has another Atomic Man and some other figures in there, but I think it's getting kind of expensive, so I think I'm gonna bow out of that one. All right, and then the conversation that everybody's waiting for is the toy conversation you did not know you needed. We're going to be talking about tariffs and prices, but before we get started, let's set some ground rules up. We are not going to be political at all, or as much as we can, right? Like, we don't want to bring politics into it because everybody's viewpoints are different. I think that's one of the greatest things about like living in this country my entire life, was that I could have a different opinion than other people. And the way it rolled out, that's the way our system is kind of set up, right? Where we don't always agree, but we don't have to always agree, but we should always get along. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Unless you guys were 100% preparing to like battle and do all this stuff.
No, we're just talking price hikes and
We're
what
just
what
talking
happened.
price hikes,
Yeah.
All right, so we're good on that. I'm sorry. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Gap saying that I always have a different opinion than 99% of people. This is true, actually. Okay, so anyways, part of the reason why I thought it would be a good idea to have this conversation is because Fresh Monkey Fiction was doing their Longbox Heroes Kickstarter, and they basically just canceled it. And what they said in their Instagram tweet, by the way, they turned off the comments because it said it was getting too political. I 100% understand. I wouldn't want to go through all those comments either and have to explain stuff. But what they were saying was that recent changes significantly increased tariffs on goods imported from China. The new policies impose a tariff of 50% on their manufacturing costs. Unfortunately, the cost is not absorbed by China directly. It impacts the manufacturers, and ultimately those costs will get passed on to them, right? Because they're not going to absorb the cost either. When they're trying to launch a Kickstarter, they're trying to do it, and make a little bit of money, just like we were talking to Adam about that Space Zombies from Mars, right? They had a little bit of a margin. They didn't want to add in the big bad toy store stuff or the retail stuff, because those retailers take a bigger cut, which means their profit margin is a little bit less. Of course, you want to make a little bit of money when you're putting something out there. So they were trying to cover all their costs, make a little bit for their time and effort, and get figures out at a reasonable price. So what Fresh Monkey is saying is, I think these long box are 3 3/4 inch.
I think they were 3 3/4. Well, take Superman, for example, or Wonder Woman. They were probably 3 3/4, and some of the villains that are supposed to be bigger would have scaled off of that.
Okay, so what they were saying was originally their cost was much lower. It was like $10. Then their manufacturing costs go up. It's like $15. Then you got to pay licensing fees and all that kind of stuff. So then they're in the $20, $30 range. So they're talking about after with shipping and everything, $40 is what you'd be paying for like a 4-inch figure. And we talk about Super 7 and it was like, hey, how was this $20? Or we get upset.
Yeah, exactly.
When the vintage collection gets to $16.99 now, right?
Yeah.
So hold on, let's see what Jonathan's saying. He's saying Hasbro CEO said January that the prices of adult collectibles will 100% increase to cover any tariff costs. So kids, toys and board game prices won't increase. Okay, so this is actually an interesting part of the conversation, because I know that what Target does is they actually sell stuff like Similac and diapers and necessities like that at lower than wholesale costs. And one of the reasons they do that is because they want to get you into the store, and then you'll pay more for the other stuff. So it's like a win-lose. So 100% I could see what Jonathan's saying as being like the way to take care of kids and charge so this is kind of what they said. They said 35% tariff on top of the existing 20%, meaning that, these are from articles, right? So they're saying, no, this is what they said. Our production cost is $10, increase that cost to $15 plus licensing fees, internal production costs, tooling and distribution. That means it's $40 a figure. So that's why they canceled it. They didn't think that was a fair price. I pulled up this harmonized tariff schedule. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the way tariffs work, but basically, like, you got the column 1, column 2. This is toys from most countries, free of duty. Basically, column 1 is generally identifies rates from countries that have trade agreements, I guess. And then column 2 are countries that don't. You could see that many of those countries, like North Korea, Russia, whatever, they're going to have a 70% tariff in that category, which means we're going to charge them 70%, which is going to make their stuff more expensive. So you guys, everybody understands the whole tariff situation, right? It's like supposed to like equalize markets and stuff like that. Supposed to create even competition because say a country can produce this thing for like $1, but in the US it costs like $3 to like make it. They charge a tariff on that $1 thing to bring that cost up to around $3. So then you as consumer can choose which one you want, the one made here, the one made there. And they're in an equal marketplace. That's kind of like the competition idea, right? So that you don't always choose the cheaper one. But I mean, that's not kind of how it worked out globally, whatever. I know a lot of talking. So this is kind of going back to I think this was like Toy Fair News or something like that. And it was that Hasbro and Mattel said originally that they incorporated 20% impact on China into their projections for 2025 and put strategies in place like moving manufacturing to other countries and this and that so that they can offset some of those costs so they didn't really have to like drive costs up that much. But because now you got these across the board situation, you have a situation where they're saying that you could have anywhere from 35% point-to-point price increases, and it may actually be a 50% price increase, given the tariffs are so high. So this is more news, whatever, right? Saying that 15% to 20% are expected on games, dolls, and cars and other toys. Back to school shopping season by the fall. They're saying that because consumers only want to pay between $5 and $20, there's not much room to pay prices. And I think we all agree on that, right? We know there's a certain price for something. We talked about this during that Maximum Spider-Man debate. Like, what would you pay for Maximum Spider-Man? And Gap saying, yes, this is the news that we didn't want to have.
Thanks for already Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, but it's already affecting us because McFarlane's already said that their multiverses are now $25.
Yeah.
They had their first comic book raise because of the printing press being overseas in 15 years. Because he was trying very hard to make sure that he maintained a $2.99 Spawn comic price. And
right.
They're jumping it to $3.99 in July because of expected increases in what they're having. It'll be the first jump in 15 years. Because we've talked about that before, but he tried to keep the prices of the figures at $19.99. I mean, he jumped it to $22.99 when Hasbro jumped to $24.99. So he's making efforts to try to balance it out, but I don't understand. What is there no injection plastic molding companies in America? Why are we getting them all from overseas? I don't understand.
No, see, I'll tell you. I think what it is that I don't think the United States makes materials. The tariff goes on the materials that are being used in the manufacturing product. So basically, China's getting plastic from a company that's probably Chinese based,
Carding,
and that plastic's being poured in the mold, and the paint used to paint the figures is probably coming from a Chinese company. So all that stuff is taxed with tariffs because those companies are involved. Those Chinese companies are involved in the sale of that manufactured product back to the United States.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
And I can give you a little bit more insight from our industry, the industry that I work in. It is insane how many moving parts you have into a product at the end. So you have, it's not just one company that's making this figure and handing it to you.
Exactly. Yes.
Like you said, you've got the plastic coming from one place. For example, our place, we outsource so many things.
Yeah.
So we have paper. Somebody gets our paper products, and we get the raw pulp from a mill that's coming from Canada, and then it goes to a place in Wisconsin or Missouri, and then they do something to it. Then it goes from there to us, and then we do something to it, and then it goes from us to another division. And it's like, when you factor that into a toy, I can see where that's adding up.
So, like in that case, if the initial stuff came from Canada, if there's a tariff on stuff being imported from a Canadian company into the U.S., that's where that tariff chain starts. You know
Right.
what I mean? But if every company making that product were in the United States from start to finish, there'd be no tariff.
That's correct. There
But
would just
that's
but
but
the
that's
problem.
that doesn't happen with anything I think we make, right?
Well, because think about because I guess you got to think about it in a different perspective, right? Like you got like a country that we're outsourcing our manufacturing to. It's like an emerging market, right?
Yeah.
So, what's minimum wage where you guys live? It's like $15 an hour
Almost
or something like
$15
that,
an
right?
hour in most of the cities. Yeah.
Right. So, what's minimum wage in these emerging markets? You know what I
5
mean?
cents. Yeah.
So if you can have a guy working for 8 hours and you are going to pay him like $25 for those 8 hours because it's $5 an hour or whatever, that's $40, whatever. Um,
Uh,
and he's going to make action figures, let's say, and then you want to move all that here, then you got to pay the guy $15 an hour to do the
Yeah.
same work that that guy was doing. And then on top of that, the
Building the
guy at the
factory and
other
all this
factory making the
infrastructure.
other stuff, and the other guy, what is your ultimate cost for producing that? You know what I mean? Like that's why they've outsourced all these markets, and
Yeah.
it is like a global give and take. I was watching. I used to watch Barney Miller. I don't know if you guys know the show. It's the police unit in New York, whatever. It's a half-hour sketch comedy, whatever. But it all took place upstairs in their little precinct office. If you ever, just for giggles, you could go watch the intro of Barney Miller and go watch the original one and then watch the later episodes. The original one is the city behind smog. And then the later episodes, it's like the city is like crystal clear, right? Like no smog. And I imagine that some of the manufacturing kind of like had moved and they did stuff to clean up the environment or whatever, and that's why the city got clear.
Yeah.
But there was a time, I remember in the third or fourth grade watching a video or one of those movies, they turn on the projector, watch the movies, and the guy was like wearing like the gas mask walking around because there was so much smog and pollution. Do you remember a period of time where factories started cleaning up?
Do you remember there was a whole thing that LA used to be under?
Yeah.
Like, didn't they used to show that on the news, the smog factor for LA and stuff? Yeah.
I mean, do
When
we
were
want
kids? Yeah.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. You move manufacturing back here, you got those factories, and you're going to be paying people more. Plus, you get to deal with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But
I forgot about that. You're absolutely right, Vern. It's probably easier to move it overseas than to pay the EPA fines and pay whatever.
Are we losing Dan? I
No,
lost
just-
his sound.
You're a bit faint.
yeah, I think your mic's not picking you up that well. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I might have been jerking shaking my desk. Sorry.
So anyways, I think the conversation is kind of like what we were talking about. Was
Don't
like,
look too comfortable.
how would you respond to price increases? Like, is there a line you wouldn't quit? Now, I've seen it in the chat here, and people are saying, sounds like a good time to collect vintage, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But Jonathan's also pointing out that like people did that during COVID and prices went up because, there's a finite amount of vintage stuff, right? They're not making any more vintage.
But we did.
Whatever's out there is out there. It's like gold.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I saw Jonathan mention that earlier. We got into it, so he's right. I mean, the prices will jump up.
Right.
Well, they didn't really jump up during COVID for collecting.
I think they
Or at
did
least-
because
At least I didn't notice as big of an increase. Then it didn't seem like we've got the higher inflation now, and with the tariffs, things are we're going to see.
I'll give you a couple
us
examples
going to a
of
recession.
Because I do every year. I buy myself probably every 6 months or so. Like especially during Christmas, I'll buy myself a carded vintage Kenner Star Wars figure, and somewhere around the middle of the summer, if I have the money, I'll buy myself one. So I'm constantly tracking figures. I don't need to get all 96 or whatever people say there are of Kenner Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have like one Luke Skywalker, one of the 6 different ones. I wanted one Han Solo, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I have like the Endor Han, I've got the Jedi Luke, and the one I didn't have was a C-3PO. And I had been tracking C-3PO for 4 or 5 years prior to the lockdown. And he kept going for around $100 to $120 for about a 5-year stretch. And I kept trying to win one on auctions and things for less than 100. I set my goal as less than 100 for a carded C-3PO. And then we got the lockdown, and I saw 3PO within a year or so of that lockdown would go from ending around 120 or 100 to 120 all the way up to $300 he was going. And then when the lockdown ended, he went right back down to 120, and I ended up winning. I finally won at an auction one of my the C-3PO I got for, it was around 110, 112. So it went from the $100, 120 mark all the way up to 300, and then after lockdown, it went back down and settled again at the price it was pre-lockdown.
I want to clarify something earlier. When I said I didn't notice a price change during COVID, it was for like retail, but there was the increase in like secondary market.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I saw that with a few other figures as well, because I was tracking like a snow trooper because I wanted the Hoth stormtrooper guy, and which I since bought, and I bought him at a record low price. The one I got was extremely low compared to stuff I've seen in the last 10 years. And I just bought him last Christmas, He was my last purchase.
Yeah,
And,
COVID was a really weird thing because that's when they had that Cobra Trooper, the Target exclusive that you couldn't get for under $150 or whatever on eBay because the 10 that Target got immediately snatched up at 8 in the morning by
scalpers,
super shopper who was there, or employee, I don't know which, but like that just wasn't a whole lot to go around, you know what I mean? So I think that drove up secondary market prices. But you're right, Eric, there wasn't like prices didn't go up because there was no reason. Manufacturing costs were the same, that type of stuff. But the thing is like the rarity of stuff, you know what I mean, drove up secondary prices. Now, going along with what John said, I had my Power of the Force figures in a box. I was trying to sell them for a long time. I could not get $10 for like the 20 Power of the Force figures that I was trying to unload. And I just held on to them. And I think I ended up letting them go at a garage sale for like $5. But if I had held on to them, I probably could have got $40-50 for them.
Yeah.
In the middle of COVID, right?
So I guess going back to the question, if prices increasing, what would change? Is there anything I wouldn't drop? If I needed to, I would drop everything but Star Wars, essentially. Like
would you then also say no more vintage collection? Also,
probably not as much. I really only get vintage collection figures to support the vehicles and playsets. I don't get everything. I'm much more selective already for TBC, but I'd still get Black Series and I'd still get lightsabers.
Well, let me ask you a question. So we're talking about a 50. So say they're talking about a 50% price increase. You're going to pay $33 for a regular Black Series figure, which is a figure and one accessory.
33. If I dropped everything else, I'd be more likely to
Oh no, I'm sorry. Hold on. Half of 25 is 12, so 37.
37. Yeah.
So you're going to pay close to $40 for a Black Series figure that has
so it would be hard to justify some of that, right? But I have to believe that let's be honest about some of this. It would be an extremely bad move on Hasbro's part to go. Surely there's a ceiling for what people are willing to pay for individual figures. and that even if they need to eat into it, like in the short term, they'd lose so many more customers if they
But
went. Yeah, right.
I would
Okay.
expect it to go to $29.99 first, and then they might try like 33 or 34.99, and try to inch that price up over time. I don't think they would do like a $15 increase
Yeah.
on one
They did-
shot.
hold on, but they didn't increase. Tariffs didn't increase in increments over time, and you're talking about
I
a company
know.
that has to stay viable for like shareholders and stuff like that, right? And so you got a two-tiered thing. You say, oh, okay, they're going to eat some of that cost, which means they're going to have to let go some employees. And then
Which
if they don't eat the cost,
do already.
right,
Yeah.
but they don't eat the cost, then prices go up. People aren't going to buy them, and they're going to have to let go employees. And this is not in the short term, right? Because the whole goal of this situation is to bring the manufacturing here. So there's no way Hasbro can start up their manufacturing of their products in the short term. That's a long term.
No, I understand, but I'd be hard pressed to believe that these tariffs last for very long without getting political.
Okay.
That's if I just politics aside, if I'm a betting man, I would expect these tariffs to go away by the end of the year.
Okay. So then, and then that's a whole politics conversation, whatever. So we're not going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So you're saying no more Marvel, no more you don't collect GI Joe, but
yeah,
no more Marvel,
barely.
period.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you would focus just on Star Wars.
Star Wars only.
Dan, what would you do?
But again, if it'd be hard to justify, $30+ for Black Series figures that with the quality we get, right? We barely get accessories, but yeah.
Yeah, but Jonathan's saying Hasbro just proved people will pay $50 for a Spider-Man figure, and that's true because basically they just brought back some of the Toy Biz articulation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's slightly different. I don't think everyone has the same tolerance for what would be a standard release.
Now here's my thinking on that Maximum series. I considered that Maximum series Spider-Man sort of a one-off for me, right? So I know I said, 40 was my top, but when it came out at 50, I went ahead and I ordered one. And my whole idea behind it was I wanted to see really just
curious.
how the articulation was. Yeah, curiosity, right? But since they've announced the Hulk, and I think the price that they've announced is $59.99, I'm like at the point
did they
now
announce
where
it?
They did?
Yeah, that's what I keep seeing is $59.99. So at that, I'm almost thinking like, now I don't even want the Spider-Man.
I'd rather
You know
just
what I
get the
mean?
Hulk.
Yeah,
Can you still cancel? You could still cancel
I
the
can still
Spider-Man,
cancel,
right?
but because it's
Yeah.
sold out everywhere, it's
I'd keep it.
worthwhile just to hold on to it and then
See what happens.
unless it comes back up
Yeah.
again, right?
Where did you see that, Vern? Because I just read an
Somebody
article.
left a comment on my video, and then I saw it on people's like thumbnails, and then somebody said it was officially announced somewhere. Like just passing by, didn't really give much credibility to it, but that's what I'm hearing is it's $60.
Yeah, it's within reason based on what the other one was, right?
So
Yeah.
I will
Moderator.
It's a bigger figure,
Yeah, so to me, I'm going to be doing kind of what I have been doing recently, where I'm not buying as much as I was before. I'm picking and choosing. I'm looking for like with this last set of Star Wars figures that came out, I only got that SM33 because they listed it for the wrong price. I was like, hey, how can you pass up getting like basically $8 off? Right.
Me too.
But
I did the same thing. Yeah.
But I ordered nothing else. Right. And with the GI Joes and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, I'm going to wait for them to start popping up in stores. And then I'm going to look for my Target Circle apps deals or something like that. And then try to get $10 off here and there. That's my game plan for that, is just to take advantage of whatever deals I can. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. The only other exception I made was for that 1970s Spider-Man. I had to get that. because I'm from the 70s. What about you, John? What are you gonna do?
I will probably be all out of modern figures.
Yeah. So
Because here's what it is. Okay, I did the Avengers team in Marvel Legends that from the comics in the 90s, sort of 80s and 90s comic books, cartoons kind of thing. And I have all the Avengers and all their villains now. I did the Spider-Man and his villains, and I've got the X-Men and some of their villains. And I feel like I'm at a point where with those three criteria, I've got every figure I want. I kind of want a Banshee figure, but I'm not going to die if I don't get him.
Okay.
And it's like, and I know he's in that multi-pack right now, or is he might be coming out single now. I don't know.
I thought I've seen one available.
Yeah, so I might end up getting him at some point if I see him, but if I don't and he's not a reasonable price, then I just won't. I could live without Banshee, and I've got the main team from the cartoons that I want. So to me, my Marvel Legends collection is basically done. I don't need any new figures,
Yeah, I understand.
And then with Star Wars, I'm at a point where I only really collect the Jedi from the prequels and the any of the original trilogy figures that come out. And going forward, if the prices increase, it would probably be only an original trilogy figure here and there if it was someone really that I absolutely felt like I needed to fit into that collection. Like if they did a Snaggletooth now. So now that we have Greedo, Walrus Man, and Hammerhead, if they made a Snaggletooth, I would feel like I'd have to have it. But there's not a lot of... I don't need like a General Nadine. I don't need a Lobot. I don't need... Now, at the higher prices, I don't need a lot of these figures that were in the original trilogy. You know what I mean? I might be like, oh, if they make a Garandan, yeah, maybe I'll buy that. The Snoodle, the wop, 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 wop guy. And so, I mean, it's really going to be like, depending on who they make for the original trilogy, would be the factor for me for Star Wars. And then G.I. Joe's the same way. Like you look at the current ones that are coming out, that blowtorch that they made is not the blowtorch that I had as a kid. Mine was yellow. Mine was yellow with red pads.
But you already said that you're like picky and choosy because you collect what you had, right? You're updating your collection. So what the question to me that I have regarding that is, how much are you willing to pay to upgrade that collection? So if it was a perfect reproduction of something you had as a kid, but it was $37, are you going to get it?
There's a chance that I would probably still get it.
Depending on the character.
Because here's the problem I have. I can't... And it's the same reason why I still collect Avengers comics to this day. And why, when I decided to stop collecting Iron Man and Thor, okay, when I decided that my comic pull list was too big, and I said, okay, I haven't been reading Iron Man, I haven't been reading Thor, I haven't been reading whatever, so I stopped. I stopped getting 2 or 3 titles. I decided right at that moment to start selling all of my Iron. I have Iron Man going back to issue number 1. I have every single Iron Man comic from his first appearance till
you can't stop now.
So I am now selling those comics.
You're selling them?
I've sold half of them already.
Oh no! Now you don't have all of them dating back to number 1
because I stopped buying the current ones.
Oh,
that's my dilemma. If I stop buying Black Series or I stop buying like Marvel, I feel like I've got my collection. But with G.I. Joe and Star Wars original trilogy, I'm going to always feel like there's holes in that collection, even if they price me out, to the point where then I would start going, well, now I don't want to have any of these in my collection.
Okay.
Would you ever go digital? Would you ever go digital only, John?
No, not on comic books. I'm a in-hand comic collector. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I guess what it would be is that they would push me to start selling more of my Star Wars and G.I. Joe collection if I stopped collecting those 2 lines. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't able to complete them at reasonable prices.
All right.
You get
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
guess a lot of
saying?
people. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people saying like, I'm good if they raise prices too high. I have my collection. Um,
But I would
does
buy a
that.
lot more. My money would then go to buying and filling
Yeah,
out more of my vintage collection.
but then the prices of those would also go up, right?
And that's
Um,
the quandary, right?
We don't know.
Yeah,
That's the thing
yeah.
we have to wait and see.
Well, there's
yeah.
not
Supply
like
and demand.
the pandemic brought a lot of new people in because they had more time on their hands and wanted to
Most
get
of those people are
nostalgic,
out though.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think the reason the prices went back down is because after the thing was done and they went, why did I buy all these? They
Listen,
flooded the market with sales of them again.
when we get to the hot or not section, I got a story about Hulk, and why I'm in trouble with that figure. But
Yeah.
G-Force is actually saying that he's wondering if retailers will raise prices on existing stock, and almost feel like they could in a way to preemptively make the money they need to buy more stock, right? Just like with gas, like they know they bought that new shipment that hasn't arrived yet, but then they raise the price at the pump before the truck shows up.
Yeah.
But because of rising prices and because Eric said that he's willing to pay $40 for a Black Series figure with a single,
Mothma with no
with
accessories.
a single accessory, I have this Shin Hati figure that I will sell to you for $34.
If you're interested in an Incredible Hulk, $29.99, Eric.
Yeah, I know you're just taking the mic.
Yeah,
It's
we're
okay.
just taking advantage of it. I would probably do what I'm doing, just cut back, and
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, you got to cut. Yeah, I guess the bottom line is you got to cut back and really only get the thing you really, really want.
yeah, it's gonna be a test to say like, oh yeah, I guess, I mean, because right now it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, but then I'm gonna be going like, oh well, which one's the coolest?
Yeah.
You know
Because the thing is that the other question I have is when does it become like no longer worth it? I guess what I mean, I guess not maybe like no longer worth it, but like would it change how we get them? Because like think about it right now, commonly they still do this, right? You get about 4 to 6 figures in a wave of 6-inch.
I don't know. Yeah,
You
no,
know what I
there's
mean?
usually
Like
8, right?
it feels like we used to get 6 Marvel Legends because each one would come with a Build-A-Figure part, and that Build-A-Figure part would
Okay.
turn into the 7th figure in that wave, right? Like sort of Star Wars and G.I. Joe, it seems like 4 to 6 come out at a time. Like would we then would it really go down to like 1 at a time kind of thing?
No,
Like
I
would
bet
they
it would be.
change their release
Then it wouldn't
schedule?
be that. Then it wouldn't be worth them doing the business in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's still going to have to stay like 4 to 6 in a box to ship over 4 new figures because they're doing a production run anyway, so they might as well just produce them. And then I guess it also depends on how many they want to sell at Ross next year at Christmas.
Yeah, because what I'm getting at is like at what point does it no longer make sense to even manufacture some of these figures?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's got to be a thing with that wave where they go, well, we expect to sell 20,000, I don't know,
Yeah.
Snaggletooth, but we expect to sell 100,000 Garandan.
Sure.
So we can weight the case a certain amount, so it's got 2 Garandans for every 1 Snaggletooth. Like I don't know. And then like at what point does it go like, well, now we expect to only sell 5,000 Snaggletooth. So is
I
it
don't know.
worth? Is it even worth making that character now? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Probably
which
not
is why
worth
I'm
it.
saying like then would the wave go down because the wave number go down because if I've got like 4 new figures that are going to sell and 3 that I know won't sell, why bother making the 3 and have a wave of 7 when you could just make a wave of 4 that are all guaranteed to sell, you know?
Yep. So I think we solved everybody's collecting problems regarding tariffs. So I'm glad we took care of that. Anyways, Jonathan makes a good point that Spider-Man 3 from the Spidey Wave, the black suit one, had a price bump. It's $29.99, which is kind of interesting. So I'm wondering if this is your slow incremental test.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like they said, hey, let's just test the price on this figure and see what happens. And then we can crank the price up on everything else. Okay. So anyways, alibis? Anybody have nothing else on that?
That's good. No,
Beat it to a dead horse. Okay.
Yeah.
The hot or not session, yours and our thoughts and the week's reveals and the part you've been waiting for. So chime in, tell us what you guys think of the following reveals. This is Super Friends, and these are basically like those Batman 66 series McFarlane limited articulation action figures, right?
Yeah, no interest.
No?
I'm the wrong target market.
Okay, so I thought this was really interesting because it's like that. I guess they ran out of the Batman 66 figures, so they started doing the Superman and stuff like that, stuff from the comics or cartoons. So now they're into Super Friends, and I thought this was really interesting that you got Green Lantern and you got Sinestro, which is kind of like a good pairing, in my opinion. And then the next one, they showed off Batman and then Lex Luthor, and it kind of threw me for a little bit because I was like, why is that the pairing?
Because of the cartoons.
Yeah, but what Lex Luthor is kind of like Superman's arch
Yeah.
enemy.
But he
The-
was kind of the leader of the Legion
Yeah.
of Doom, and in many senses, in the cartoon, Batman was sort of the leader of the Super Friends.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I can see
In the
it.
cartoon, you know.
All right. So nobody interested in those. I'm gonna.
They
pick
look great. I mean, they
Yeah.
really do. But no, I can't buy these. No.
them. All right. If I see them at Ross, I'm in.
Maybe, yeah. There you go. They're $5 at Ross, maybe 10. That because the Lex Luthor looks fantastic. He looks just like the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You know.
Now because they do a lot of like those sets, like the Batman mansion, the Bat Cave. I can see like a Hall of
Could you
Justice.
see making a Legion of Doom skull?
Oh
That'd be
yeah, that
cool.
would be really cool. All right. Super Friends are beyond you guys, Eric.
He
Dan?
says super pass. He don't like
He's
that.
super fast.
Come on,
Yeah.
Steve. Come on.
Not for me.
Super.
They look good. I probably would have been interested as a kid. Just no.
Yeah.
All right. Now here are the pre-orders for some more multiverse figures. And I got to tell you though, if they were $19.99, I might
Yeah.
be in. But now that they're
The
$25,
Superman-
I'm out.
Superman and Dr. Fate both look fantastic.
I was gonna say
The interesting thing is Superman looks like he's got a cloth cape too, and
Yeah,
so
it
does
does.
the other dude.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool that they're switching to that. But $25.
That Dr. Fate looks a lot like the Superpowers one that was out a long time ago.
Yes.
It's cool.
So I wonder if he has just unlimited like dioramas in his house or something like
Right?
that.
Yeah.
of course.
No, he just types into AI, I need a picture of, and it comes
Okay.
up, and then he puts it in the
Yeah.
background.
All right. Joint pins in 2025. No thanks. That's according to Cedar Stuff. All right. And then these I just saw this morning, so I threw them in before I uploaded the thing. And this is
Wow.
animated series. John, you collect those, right?
No, I just got the Batmobile and a Batman. That's all I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a few, but only really for the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jonathan's telling me that they are doing wired softgoods capes for
Cool.
McFarlane. So yeah, good to see. I like it.
I love the cartoon, but I never got into collecting the line. And I'm quite frankly, like if I were to start collecting animated Batman figures, I'd rather go back and buy the vintage original Kenner than a modern. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, they look good. All right.
Fine,
So
man.
then they had some GI Joe reveals, and a lot of people were talking about this guy.
Monkey Wrench.
I like Monkey Wrench.
Not Monkey Wrench. What's the other guy's name?
Major
Major
Blood.
Blood.
What's different about him? Because I have the like first version.
Yeah,
They put
I
red
don't
on 'em.
see.
That was an exclusive, remember?
Yeah,
They painted some red in there.
Mm.
one of Major Blood's arms is supposed to be mechanical in a sense.
Yeah.
So I think they've made it more robotic looking. I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got so the red paint scheme and
Yeah.
Monkey Wrench. I guess his hair comes off.
Really?
Oh, because
Okay.
it's attached to that.
Yeah, because see how the hair is attached to the gas mask?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
I
it
think
must have the glasses on the other one.
yeah.
That's weird.
See, now Monkey Wrench is one, like, if this is an example. He's one I had as a kid, so I'd really like to have this figure. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
And he
I'm
looks a
counting.
lot. He looks a lot like the original one. I'll just never use the gas mask head. I could do
Right.
without that. You know.
Sure. I think they look pretty good, but for $40,
Yeah.
John?
I know that's the thing. Yeah.
We're just
If it's
speculating on price, though, right?
yeah,
I mean,
if it comes out at that high a price, would I still get it? I
I-
don't know. I don't know.
I think you can pretty much count on the line, all these product lines being dead if they ever try
if
and
prices
charge
have to go up.
If they try
that,
to support
that
it.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
real tough. Real tough. Yeah, I think a lot of people, Cedar saying the passing on blood. Jonathan saying the difference this time people will be able to get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said, he was a that was a Cobra Island one, right? Was it Target?
Yeah, it
think
might have
it
been a
was, yeah.
Target. Yeah.
So he's hard to come by.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I got blood on eBay. So,
Well, apparently not that hard to come by then.
Yeah, exactly. And you got the other Dreadnoks, so you want Monkey Wrench, exactly.
Yeah.
But then when you come to this guy, the Cobra Commander,
Right.
if he was, it's right now I'm on the edge. Like, do I really want this one?
I know.
If he's even $24.99.
I've never
When-
seen this interpretation.
Because I have this figure as when we had him as a kid, my brother got him as a kid. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I have this figure in my current collection from the original Joes. So if it was like $19.99 or less, I will be definitely buying this figure if I see him at Ross. But even at $24.99, I might be going, I'll just get Monkey Wrench and I won't bother with this guy.
Really?
And especially if it goes up to like $30 or $40, he becomes a definite no. But like I said, at $20 or less, he's a definite yes. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you like the alternate heads with the?
No, I don't need the Cobra
reptile
Eye
eye?
head.
You don't
I
care
like
about the
the eyes.
reptile eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
worth it right there.
But I do like the little iguana that he comes
Well,
with.
see, that's
so,
the problem, John. I thought we could go half on this, and then I
And
would.
then
just
I
keep
can
the
have the
iguana,
little
yeah.
iguana. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, and then they had some Thunderbolts figures. This is a D-pack, so I guess like Red Guardian's just like always going to be in a 2-pack
Sure.
for the
Yeah.
most part, right?
They did one, right? Did they do one solo?
Yeah, they did, but the one where he had the unmasked head was in the 2-pack.
With the Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, and then he also
right?
came, with the action figure of himself.
Is
Yeah.
this who, like Yolanda or someone, right?
Yelena
Yelena.
Belova.
Yelena, is that her
I got to
name?
tell you, this is a much better figure than the previous version because, I mean, this was the other one. Looks
Oh,
just
that's much better.
looks just like the actress.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the new one looks
Yeah, the new
infinitely
one's
better.
much better. Yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of looking forward to. I might actually want a couple so I could just swap that. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Can't swap the hair though. That's the problem. All right. So I think that one's pretty cool. I think G-Force is going to get that one also.
He says
I also
get my cart. Yeah.
I also like the outfit because I think John won't want to hear this, but like when you take a figure and you start doing like modifications to it to make it like a crossover, that could 100% just be armed up and placed in with like some GI Joes.
Yeah.
The Yelena Belova one.
And it almost looks like
100%.
a pilot. You could make that a pilot suit,
Yep.
a parachuting suit. Like there's a number of things you can do with it. Yeah.
Just a little bit of paint touch-ups and stuff like that
I think that,
to increase the value.
although
Sure.
I'm not sure, because I think I've heard from people at Hasbro that not all the 6-inch scale figures are exactly the same scale, and I want to say Legends is one of the bigger ones. I can't remember if I know they said Star Wars is the more realistic, slightly smaller than Legends scale, but I can't remember if Joe's were more similar to Legends or Black Series.
I do head swaps between the Joes and the Legends a lot, and they seem like they don't fit perfectly on the peg, but there's a way to like make them work.
Mhm.
So I feel that those two scales work pretty well together.
Yeah, they're probably close enough. Yeah,
So does he come with a gun? He's got a pistol.
it looks like it.
Looks like he's got a gun on the back.
Oh,
two
yeah,
guns.
two
Yeah.
pistols.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know when spring starts. I thought it was in March. So these are available in spring of 2025.
Cedar stuff.
I thought
That's
spring
fine,
was
Legend.
April. Sure.
All right. More Thunderbolts. And this was kind of interesting that this is how the outfit for the movie gets revealed, right?
That's
Releasing the figure.
so they're doing the Sentry.
Yeah.
That's the big bad in the.
He's-
Thunderbolt stuff.
Well, okay. I was reading an article today, Dan, where it says that not necessarily is he going to be the bad guy.
It's
That
his
is actually gonna
multiple
be-
personality.
The
The character, it comes and goes because he's crazy.
uh-huh.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Void. His
He's-
alter ego, the Void, was the bad guy.
Yeah.
So the article was making it sound like the Julia Louise Dreyfus character is the big baddie.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's the director of the CIA. Yeah.
That what she's supposed to be head of?
Yeah.
What would be fascinating to me, though, is if they did the story of Sentry the same way. Because in the comics, when they destroy the Void / Sentry, because they're like it's his alter ego, it ends up wiping the minds of everyone in the world, so they forget the Sentry Void even existed. You know?
What's interesting is that actor's name was called out on the list of chairs for Doomsday, so they confirmed the Sentry.
He's going to
still
continue on
around.
in other
Yeah.
films.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So
Okay,
they may be setting something up for the future before that event happens. I gotcha.
So here's what I don't like about this figure. So if you go back and you see the Red Guardian has 2 guns, and then you look again at
Oh,
John
yeah.
Walker.
character, he again has a sidearm attached to his leg, which I know does not come out, just like the other versions.
Gotcha.
So he has a gun that he cannot use. Right? Most
Yeah.
of the figures come with like a holster where the gun's removable, but in all the versions of him, he has not had a gun that he can take out.
Wait, that's molded.
Yes, on the other versions, it was molded as well.
Oh,
Now, what
wow.
I did was I cut mine off or whatever, and I gave him like one of those
gee.
like leg holsters off of a GI Joe, just so he can have. Yeah, I increased the value of it, John.
It's all over.
Peter's got the answer, man. It's a 3-pack.
Yeah, it is the 3-pack. Exactly.
All right, hold on. Let's see. Somebody says he's even has a trigger finger. Yes, and no pistol to use. That's what I think is like the weirdest thing about that character. Right? He should have a gun, but he doesn't have one. You would see a picture there, and it's on the side, but he can't take it out.
It
I mean,
didn't.
It's
No sense.
Am I wrong in that in the comics and cartoon and stuff, like U.S. Agent still had a star on his shield?
yeah, I think he did, but this is. I mean, they're doing a different interpretation. so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing the yeah. All right, and then this was
Could you tell?
villain.
Sorry, could you tell if the Sentry's cape was? That just looks like soft
It
plastic.
looks
It doesn't
plastic.
look-
Yeah,
looks plastic
that would be better as soft goods.
yeah,
with
it would,
wire
but-
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
All right. And then here
This is
was the
cool.
super villains, right? Now there was a little bit of a mix up during the stream. I'll just show that. So this is
torso.
what they showed. And then later they revealed that the character
Oh.
was going to come out with the white instead of the black.
What's a cooler look?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is what it will look like.
yeah,
And there's a lot of accessories in here. That looks really cool.
Yeah, making it.
yeah. It does.
I
That
counted.
briefcase, I think, came from GI Joe, didn't it?
It looks
Probably.
like it. Yeah.
Destro figure or something.
I know that
Yeah.
I counted the money. There's only about $100,000 in there.
Is it?
This is a good set. Yeah, I think it is. But it's
Yeah.
again, I don't need it. But it's a good set.
I think I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna paint that figure. All the white stuff I'm gonna make black.
Did you notice those 2-packs are still running 49?
Yes, which is pretty good. I mean, like,
I mean, honestly, what we've been seeing, yeah. There's no hike, right?
right. No price hike yet. There's the money. All right, and then the $30 Spider-Man figure. Now, what do you think that $30? Do you think that's a test, or you think that's a licensing fee that they're also paying to Sony as well?
Isn't it 35?
Or to Toby for the likeness. Maybe they
I
didn't
mean,
have.
to me, that
right?
head looks terrible. But whatever.
Now, here's what I'm interested in. I would like to see this fully side by side with the other Toby Spider-Man figure that they released, to see if the bodies are the same size, if he's the same height, that type of stuff, because I just felt like this one looks smaller.
Yeah, the head looks too big.
I just felt like the body wasn't right for some reason.
The one from the No Way Home wave?
Yeah.
Do you remember the when that movie actually came out? They did a black costume figure of him, and it was small.
Yeah.
Do you remember those? It was like maybe I want to say maybe an exclusive.
Maybe.
But it was him and Venom, and both of
Okay.
those figures I don't remember if they were released as Marvel Legends, but they were really small. Like they were a good solid half-inch shorter than the rest of the series.
No, I don't remember that, but I wouldn't doubt it. This guy the figure just looked a little bit small to me, so I'm curious how he sizes up next to regular Toby Spider-Man, right? Like, did they just think about that, or did they just think, oh, nobody will put them next door to each other on the shelf because it'll just look off. Okay, Jonathan's saying it's the same. Maybe it's just the black makes it look smaller to me.
Well, it is thinning.
Quite possible. Steve-O's definitely worth every cent. He's going to have this guy hanging upside down from his rearview mirror.
I will
Yep.
His car. All right. I might paint that. I might get this and paint it like red and blue.
Instead of just buying a red and blue one, I'm going to buy the black one and paint it.
All right. And then She-Hulk here.
Again?
That looks cool.
Yeah.
Come on, it's got some awesome accessories. I'm in.
Yeah.
I guess
like
she's
that.
in the Fantastic Four suit this time. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
alternate head sculpt. You got the weights, right? Like, yeah. And it comes
when
on
she
that
was
card.
on the Iron Man card, she didn't have the Fantastic Four outfit on, right? She just had
That's
the regular.
Yeah, that's correct. She has the
Jumpsuit or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the purple
Yeah.
jumpsuit
Yeah.
with the white belt.
So now, does this one come on a Fantastic Four card back?
It comes on a card back. I don't know if I have the picture of it. No, I didn't get the picture of
Yeah.
it. But it is on. Let me see. I think it's on my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. See if I can find it without my glasses.
Because remember they had the ones that were Fantastic Four, and then the other ones. That
Oh
were
yeah,
Iron
it is
Man.
a Fantastic Four card.
Yeah,
Hold on.
They're mimicking the old figure. Yep.
The bubble, the
Yeah.
circular one. Yeah.
Yeah, the old. Yeah, they're mimicking the old one from the Toy Biz line.
Yeah, the thing is like, I'm definitely gonna get this. All
It's
right.
probably the coolest one they've done so far of She-Hulk, I think. Yeah.
Had
But
they
I-
done
I-
this one first, right, John? If they done this one first, I wouldn't have gotten that other one.
That's
Really?
that's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
See, I like the other one better than
Oh,
this.
do you?
Yeah.
The thing is, the other one was at Ross.
Are we talking about the same one, the Iron Man one?
Yeah, in the purple outfit.
You found that at Ross?
Yeah,
Wow.
I found it hidden underneath a bunch of like plushes at Ross, but yeah, it showed up for a limited time, small amount of time. There were maybe four or five in the store when I $12.99.
I never paid for it. They never showed up at my Target or Walmart's here.
Oh my gosh. No. Okay. All right, and then Daredevil. I thought it was kind of interesting that they brought that unpainted kind of prototype out.
Yeah.
So,
To me,
Eric-
again, this looks proportioned weird. Like, to me, I'm like, what's wrong with his hit the joint from the legs to the waist?
this is
And
the
why is
maximum-
the chest and the body so long compared to the rest? Like, it just looks weird to me.
It could just be the digital rendering
Yeah.
kind of like off a little bit, but you're right. The digital render looks funny.
I mean, in the one that's posed, not the standing
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The one on the
Part of
yeah.
it's also it's just kind of a weird expression on his face.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Like I think they
Basically.
could have picked they picked the most neutral expression.
I think that this should have had a different head where he was like kind of gritting his teeth expression or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ordered that Daredevil. Was so happy to see the figure
Butterfly
had
joints.
butterfly joints on the prototype. Yeah, that was cool. All right. And
This
Super
is
Maximum Series Hulk.
This is the Ultimate Max Hulk. Yeah.
I'm gonna get one.
He looks great, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I want to have one with the
hand slap.
yeah. I'm
See-
curious how the the chest part or like around the shoulders how they executed that. I'm just really curious.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how did they? I mean,
See,
It seems like different material
So
or just it's thinner.
I think that entire like upper torso
That cavity
probably
yeah.
has like, you know how they did Boba Fett where they have like a regular body underneath and then they put the armor on. I
Sure.
would guess that the muscles and stuff are over a smaller piece, but have like some flex in them.
Okay.
And what I was noticing was when he had that slapping motion, see how his arm kind of pushes in, and it also changes the dynamics of the muscle cuts, right? Like you see more definition. And then they had that one shot that in the stream where he actually pushed in on the chest. So it might be like hollowish underneath a little bit.
flexible.
Yeah, flexible, but also like not necessarily not spongy, but like loose, so that you could actually push it in like that. I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm trying to look to see what I would have like you know how like this has like some flex because there's nothing behind it. I'm guessing it's like just a like if you took it off, like if you were to take it off, you could manipulate it like the outer vest of Boba Fett or whatever. But I'm guessing there's nothing behind the chest piece. You know what I mean? It's like narrow, much narrower.
Yeah.
Narrower.
I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at a picture of it. I see what you're talking about with the clap. It looks like it's squished like this right
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's actually folded in. So maybe it's
Do you get 4 heads with this?
You get
3
3 heads with it.
I wish they didn't have different hairstyles though.
So
Yeah,
so,
I'm weirded out by this.
look. Yeah.
so I'm trying to find here's the. Let me see if
So
I can.
you used one head twice in this image, is what
I used it. No, I used his back. I just put his back in this 3-pack down here, where I have the 3
Well,
heads.
Well, no, there's one with his mouth open.
Oh,
if
that's
you-
because that's a separate picture showing you the definition, how the definition changes on the muscles. While he's doing the slap, you can see
Yeah.
like right up here on the collar that how it's a
meaning
little
it's
bit.
flexing in. Okay,
Yeah. So
because I
this is where he was pushing in on the chest.
Gotcha.
before he was flexing, before he was manipulating him. So I think
You're probably right. There's probably
that-
just a softer, like the entire chest cavity is
Yeah,
softer
he-
material.
Dan said the same.
So the interesting part was I was showing my grandson these pictures, and I showed him. Okay, on this, I showed him a picture of the one with all the teeth. The one, like if you look at the 4 picture, and then it's on the top over to the right, and he kind of like, he's 5. He goes, because he's really likes the Hulk. And then I showed him this picture of the overall with all the stuff, and he pointed to the Hulk just like he is with the short hair, and he's like, I want that one. Right? He doesn't realize that like it all comes together at this point, but he's like basically saying, I want that one, but he doesn't want that other head. He doesn't care about the other head.
The one he wants the one throwing the missile.
Yeah, he thinks that one's good. Yeah. So now I'm in for 2.
Gotcha.
That's what I get for giving him my phone.
Profits
But
in
anyway.
can't completely touch.
Yeah. So
They can't.
here's the size difference. They made a big deal about the packaging having like the color scheme of the character. So I'm imagining when Daredevil comes out, it'll just be red again.
Yep.
Daredevil would be a good one. I'd like to see a Punisher one. I think Punisher would do really well.
I just wonder if like what they should do is just go down the Avengers.
But see, this is what I was talking about, though. You see how they're doing these one at a time?
Yes.
That's what I was saying. Like, would the regular Legends line just move into something like that, where it's one at a time? They don't have to do
Just
waves
bigger,
of 6.
like more like main characters, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And even same with Black Series and GI Joe. You don't have to have a wave of 4 to 6 figures. You could just do one at a time.
I have a feeling that with that Maximum series, they're not going to be doing like a wave of Maximum series figures.
right.
Yeah.
No. But that was these two are too close to each other for that price point.
I think that they 100% knew that they had to do these two. These are 2 of the biggest, in my opinion,
Yeah.
biggest Marvel characters.
Well, then they
And,
got to do Wolverine. Wolverine's going to be the third.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's tough, right? Like you do a Wolverine. Well, I guess the good part is because they match in with the rest of your figures, but the bad part is then you're only doing one of an entire team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, working up. What did I? Oh, waking up. Profit. Yeah.
What did I miss?
There's a rewind button. Maybe he said he wants one referring to the whole Hulk and not just that. No, he was pretty sure about the head. He didn't like the picture of the head because I actually showed him a picture of the full Hulk with that other head, and he was like not having that Hulk, which I thought was kind of interesting. But
See, I would think. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna say the green shade that they use seems a little bit lighter than other Hulk figures. Maybe it's the picture and lighting, but it looks it looks a bit brighter.
I feel like this one matches that Maestro or whatever the old man
Okay.
Hulk
Sure.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, I agree, Gary. I'm a little bit off by these heads. I'm not sure
Oh
which
no,
head
that
I
might
would
be a
do.
It's
little bit
lighter.
brighter.
Yeah.
Still lighter.
I sold my Maestro figure. I didn't end up wanting to keep him.
I think I packed away I had that one Hulk that's gray and has all the paintwork on him. I don't know which one that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so
See, I would. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say. So, Prophet said Ryan Tings hinted that there was like room for one other Maximum series in Legends. What do you think that'll be?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Next, it'll be. This is what I was gonna say. I think the next one will be Wolverine, and it'll be in a yellow box. And then the one after that, they'll go to the Fantastic Four and do the Thing, and the Thing will be in an orange box. And they'll get one guy from each team out, and then decide if they need to flush out a whole team. Like the Hulk represents the Avengers, because I don't think they would go down the Avengers line and do Hulk, Iron Man, Thor. You know what I mean? And
Well,
like
I think Captain America. If they went
and
Avengers, I would
Captain
say-
America, because I think everybody would be screaming, "What the crap? Where's my Wolverine? I gotta wait 10 figures before I get an X-Men."
Well, what
But
about
I-
Iron Man?
The crazy part about Captain America is if they did Captain America, they just did this guy, which I think is my favorite one so far.
Yeah, that's
So,
a good one.
Broken Shield.
But
I'm
did
sorry?
that come with that came with a broken shield, didn't it?
Yeah, so what I did was I actually substituted in that one,
Yeah,
but the color's a little bit off, the red's a little bit off.
yeah. It's a
I would have
darker red.
gotten that new one if it came with like
both shields.
just
It
an
should have come with two shields.
unbroken.
Yeah,
Right.
it should have come with 2 shields.
But I don't know. Like I think that's logical, John. Like my personal pick would be you heard it. I said Punisher. I think Punisher as a
Yeah, that'd be
maximum
good. series
series would do really well.
They have it. Have they? When was the last Punisher that Marvel Legends did? I can't remember it.
I think they did something fairly recently. I want to say I can't remember. But
The reason
like,
I'm asking,
would
well,
you,
there's-
but how would you make a Punisher figure maximum series? You probably need to give
Yeah.
it articulation so it could aim down the sights properly.
yeah, and you'd have to give him a trench coat that can come off.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have to so you could have them both
Oh,
ways.
That would be
But
good.
see, like the reason I'm asking is because, come to think of it, the 2 Marvel figures that I do need is, and one of the guys gave me a good Daredevil to stand in, but on the shelf he's the old Toy Biz Daredevil, I think. So he's a little bit taller than the other Marvel Legends figures, so he doesn't quite fit in. And then the Punisher, I don't have a good Punisher that matches the original comic books and the 80s 90s cartoons, because all the Punishers I've seen come out, they're not the cartoon comic version. You know what I mean? They're all some modernized version,
The one with the bushwhacker. They just did that. Like
Yeah.
last-
With the like flesh cannon. Yeah. That was a hard pass for me. But that Punisher looked pretty cool.
Yeah, if it wouldn't have been a 2-pack, I would have got him.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it too, is they've always been in double packs or something.
Yeah. Well, that Punisher was just a redo of the Walgreens exclusive, if I remember correctly.
See, and I never saw the Walgreens one. Yeah,
Steve-O is a good idea for the next
Aiden
Maximum
needs to make
series.
Marvel.
Aunt May, Maximum Aunt May. That's funny.
Well, that's the thing is like, does our so you're talking about this Capcom, right? But they did those Sentinels, and on the back of the Sentinels is pictures of like the video game. So I'm wondering, do they then try to make, I don't know, more figures with those types of imageries on the boxes or something like that?
If you had to pick though, Vern and Dan, which character would you pick as the next Maximum series?
Iron Man,
Iron Man?
definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm with Dan. I mean, I don't have many Iron Man figures in my collection.
just
Fair enough.
So I might need a couple more. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I had on the hot or not section. So,
Yeah, I
what
never
else?
saw that carded. I just looked them up. The carded Punisher is exactly what I want in the retro gray and blue packaging. I
Oh,
never
nice.
ever even knew that came out. I never
Yeah.
saw that.
Where's he? Is he available at Ollie's?
And it's online right now at $55.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not going to buy them. But I mean,
Oh,
I don't remember that figure ever coming out. That's the one I want.
on that card, yeah, that's like what you'd think of. The only way
Yeah.
you can make that better is like, okay, it looks like he's got the bazooka, maybe he has some other weapons,
yeah,
but
yeah.
also the trench coat.
The trench coat. Yeah.
that
Maximum
has to be
Rancor.
because of the show coming out, because he was on the shelves. I remember seeing that carded one like
Gee,
just for nothing.
so Steve-O wants a Maximum Rancor with a cardboard back.
That's cool.
G-Force
Yeah.
wants
I support
Maximum
that.
Monster. All right, what do you guys got coming up this week? Anything?
I gotta
I
get
wish
going.
that
But yeah,
I wish that Cookie Monster funded, because that would be so
that
cool
was
for.
yeah.
Well, no. Like I was thinking, like
The has
I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about Cookie Monster, but I'd love to see that technology used for like Fozzie Bear. Oh, I would have
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Would there be a Fozzie Bear sitting in the back of your room right now?
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Take a minimum rank for it.
I've got
Ah,
sitting right next to me. So
waka waka waka. I just regular videos coming. I'm working on a couple things for the science show.
Can you
I
do
had-
a whole thing on that? The drones over New Jersey and why that never turned into a Superman promo?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we had a guy from MUFON reach out, and hopefully by the end of April, we'll fit him in somewhere here in April.
All right.
MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network. It's a United States organization that tracks UFOs. So we might have an official UFO guy on the show.
What are the tariffs on UFOs?
Yeah, where are they manufactured? I don't know. If they're manufactured in Alpha Centauri, do we have a tariff on other planets? You know, like, if you're importing UFOs to the United States from other planets, what is the tariff on that exactly? That'll be my first question to the MUFON guy.
All right. Dan, you gonna make any videos coming up?
Nah.
He's like, nope.
But I am working on some craft stuff.
Oh,
Craft
that's cool.
stuff?
Like to
Yep,
see some
I
of that.
got myself a cricket, and I've been tinkering with that and some other things.
I'm thinking about trying to make the ramen diorama out of like myself. You know what I mean? Like just go buy those little boards from Home Depot and just make the whole scene myself. I feel like I'm just gonna do that one day.
That
On
the
a
silver layer
ramen
one,
noodles?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
that's what I feel like I'm gonna. That's my project. That's what I'm gonna work on.
Yeah.
And Eric's gonna make his first video. It's gonna be of the Balin Skull lightsaber.
Bring it.
Oh no.
It's going to be what he
Street-
wishes for Galaxy's Edge.
The Streets of Mos Eisley with Carl Malden and Michael Douglas.
Yeah, I did too.
Brad Tyson.
There was more Muppets and Fraggle Rock. Yeah, well, you're right.
All right, I'm missing the guy. Are you guys still talking about the
But I did like it when some of
G-Force
the
was surprised I said I don't care for Cookie Monster. I was just never big on Sesame Street as a kid. I watched
but some of them
Muppets,
came
Muppet.
on the Muppets
Fraggle
once in a
Rock.
while.
do you
No, I know.
that-
Yeah, it's all Jim Henson. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that.
Can you sing the Muppets theme song?
From which season? Because
I don't know the one. It's
there were
time
slight
to put on
changes.
makeup.
Yeah, no, I know, but that song changed with
It did.
each season of the Muppet Show.
it
They
did.
made different adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so, okay, so you could sing them all.
Yeah. There's 3 or 4 different versions.
like when I watch all the episodes with my my
right.
daughter.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not doing it now.
It's time to
But-
put on makeup.
No,
It's time to set things right.
no, light the lights. But okay.
Yeah, light the lights
No,
or whatever. On the
but,
Muppet Show tonight.
But I would sing it with for my daughter when be watching it. I just get in the groove of.
And they gotta
which
be going
version-
like this too.
Yeah.
It's time to get things right. Or whatever. You know.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
I think
So-
it's awesome that you watch that with it.
And don't they do this
Oh,
when
she
they
lo-
walk into
She loves the Muppets. We were this morning. We had a Saturday morning cartoon time, and we were watching Muppet Babies on YouTube.
Oh, you know my
Muppet
niece worked on Muppet Babies.
Oh, really?
She did one of the episodes I think that she wrote on her own. There was one about a hand box,
dress up
is
right.
like a
That's it,
Korean outfit,
Yeah,
something like that, and she was really proud of that one.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah. We love watching the original Muppet Show, and yeah. Surprisingly, it's one of the only things. It's the first thing my daughter like watched and like actually got into. So she sits and stays still to watch the Muppets, and she also likes Bluey and the Young Jedi Adventures. We just watched all the new episodes that finished out the second season.
I heard a crazy thing about Muppet Babies, the original cartoon, in that they can't put it on streaming because there's too many. Too many of those clips require so many different rights agreements.
Jim Henson didn't license it. Yeah, I think that came from Dan Larson doing the.
Dan was talking about it. Yeah.
Secret Galaxy. At least that's where I learned about all the licensing concerns, and when you think about it, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
Jim Henson just got. He was just working on favors from friends.
It was handshake agreements or something, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And now that they can't, because that's why it's not on like Disney Plus or something. But they have the new Muppet Babies up there, but not the original show.
Yeah. And the new one has like a purple penguin instead of Skeeter. Yeah.
Amazing.
But
all right,
sorry,
that's okay.
No,
that's okay.
Went in a different direction.
Good show though. I love Muppet Babies.
Yeah. You can find them on YouTube, which is what we were doing.
All right. So if you guys are still watching, if you wouldn't mind, hit the thumbs up button on the video so that we can drive up some viewership. Anyways, we really appreciate everybody hanging out on a Saturday afternoon to talk toys. We hope that we were able to solve all of your tariff-related issues or concerns and to help you out with all your future collecting, depending on how things go with all of the price increases. And we'll see you guys next week on the Toy Duo team.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
When you have addiction and your shelves are overflowing. Hold tight. When you don't know what new is coming, but you fear you might miss out. Just sit right back. Just relax and watch and listen. The Toy Duo team brings you what you need. The toy news you didn't know you needed. Action figures, TV news, all the pop culture you can handle.
I love it when a plan comes together. What?